Welcome. You may recognize me. I'm one of the co-founders of the 757 Sports Connection. And before you watch the video that comes immediately after this message, I wanted to take a little bit of your time and ask for your help. When you watch the video, immediately after, hit the like button. And after you hit the like button, find the follow icon and press that. When you do that, you'll be able to receive the instant notifications of all of our posts. Now, we've got some really exciting things coming up in the future, and we'd like for you to be a part of it. And the way you do that is to hit follow, and we can engage you at a higher level. Some of those items that are coming up is we're going to do an outreach asking for our followers to share their story about how our site has impacted them. So you could be the next video star on our platform, and who knows, you might just go viral. So we also want you to be a part of promoting our website. So that'll be also out there. So when you do the follow, you'll be a part of our deeper connection. So watch the video that comes after this and hit the follow. Thank you to all of our followers, and we appreciate each of our viewers. Hope you enjoy the video that starts now. Welcome, everybody. It's another wonderful day here with the 757 Sports Connection. Thank you for joining us today. It is our privilege and honor to sit down with Estelle Ellis-Fonville. Estelle is a former multi-sport athlete from the 757. She's a mother, an employee, and an artist. Estelle, thank you for joining us today. And let's just get started here. You played multiple sports, Estelle, but let's kind of focus on basketball. Tell us a little bit about watching your brother play, who he is, what it was like playing in your neighborhood, what it was like watching him, and how it was working in your community.
I'm so happy to be here to share my story. And thank you so much, Stan, for having me. I really enjoyed the sport of basketball. I watched my brother play, Tony Ellis, at Warwick, and I remember just going to his games, and they were so exciting to watch. And then when he went on to go to college to play basketball, it was so exciting for the family just to go and support him. My basketball career started, I would say, in our backyard. We never had grass in our backyard, but we had a lot of neighbors over. The neighborhood kids would come over and we would just play basketball. And it was fun. And I developed a love for that sport. And I'll never forget when our parents took us to the Hampton Roads Coliseum to watch the Virginia Squires play. And we know him as Julius Irving, but we know him as Dr. J. And that was just an awesome time. And basketball was it was like an exciting time for me, when I was younger playing. I would play at the rec. I could play from sun up to sundown. I just loved the sport. And then in high school, I remember trying out for field hockey, and they wanted me to play that, but I love basketball and I couldn't play both sports at the same time. So I chose to play basketball. And then after basketball season was over, we had track and field, and I also participated in that, and that was fun. I just enjoyed the sports. And I developed all of this from my parents. They used to play with us. They would come out, we would play softball in the summertime with the neighborhood kids. We would play kickball. It was just a neighborhood community where we just gathered and just had so much fun.
Hey, Estelle, that's a wonderful story, especially the part about the Hampton Coliseum and Dr. J. I'm sure a lot of our audience is going to relate to that because I certainly do. So you're a multiple sports star. Talk to us about some of the specifics around track and field. What events did you participate in? And also share with us a little bit about your teammates, the relationships that you created, and Are they meaningful relationships today?
I would say that in track and field, I did the long jump, the high jump, and I threw the discus. And whenever they needed me, I would do run the 220. That wasn't my specialty, but my specialty was throwing the discus. I did very well at that. And then when I think about my teammates, I was going through my high school photo album when we went into a 5 overtime game. And I remember my coach name was Miss Nixon, and she said she wondered, how many overtime games can you go in? But we actually went into 5 overtime games, and I would contribute our team to a very close-knit team players. You know, I think of Deborah Clark when we was in the 5 overtime. And I hit the winning shot in the 5th overtime, but she clinched it and she took us over. Her name is Deborah Clark. And then I remember Yvette Jones. There were some awesome guards. And Paula Mombart, I'll never forget her when she fouled out during that time. And it's like, oh my God, you know, that was some pressure that fell on us, you know, because she was our center. And she fouled out because can you imagine just playing 5 games, overtime games? And then we have, I remember Margaret Brown. And then we had a girl, you know, she was awesome as a point guard. And I'm trying to get her name. Her name was Janet. She was really short, but she was awesome. She could shoot some 3-point shots. And we just had so much fun. You know, we had a team. It wasn't an individual that was trying to stand out, but it was a team sport where we worked together. And that's how we won those games. And that was an awesome time.
Estelle, that answer, thank you so much. That takes me back also. Apparently, you and I have a lot of commonality when it comes to our family basketball history, because my brother played a 5 overtime game in the Hampton Roads Coliseum against York. So if Chip No is watching, he might want to chime in on the comments. And Jerry Ferrier from York High School, it was a 5 overtime game, and that's the way it goes sometimes. So talk to us a little bit about what happened after high school. So you made some career choices, you went on to college, you did some other things.
After high school, I went to Delaware State in Dover, Delaware. I went there for a year and I got homesick and I came home, and then I'll never forget the coach from Norfolk State contacted me and wanted me to come over there to play basketball. So then I journeyed over to Norfolk State and, you know, played a little there, but I just wasn't focused. So then I came home and started working in the shipyard, and I've met my husband. We have 2 wonderful daughters, and now I'm on my 43rd year at the shipyard. So that's my journey of where I've come from basketball to now.
So you've got a lot of experience in playing sports. You've got a lot of life experience in raising a family. Talk to us a little bit about what you would say to kids, especially young ladies and girls that are interested in playing sports. What is the best message you can leave with them?
You need to enjoy your sport. You need to have fun. That's what it's all about. Not to take it so serious that you can't enjoy it. When I played, I had fun. It was all fun. It's a group thing. You know, you might have individual sports, but then when you're coming together, playing with other kids, you're learning one another and you're learning some life lesson skills, how to work together as a group. So I would tell children today is just go out there and have fun. Just enjoy your sport. Have fun with it. And if by chance you soar in that sport, your gift, your talent will make room for you. But first of all, enjoy what you're doing.
Estelle, thank you very much for that wisdom. And I hope those that are listening that have kids, they're of their own, kids in the neighborhood, will share this message of inspiration with them. And so let's shift a little bit. Life is not always easy. It's not always a fair journey. Talk to us a little bit about some of the difficulty you face, whether it's on the court, in the workplace, raising your kids in the community. What did you face? And more importantly, what did you use to overcome some of those challenges?
I would say on the court in basketball, you have to learn sportsmanship. You know, and that, you know, you're learning your teammates, you're playing together, you're building a team. It's not about, it's not, in basketball, it's not a personal, individual thing. So therefore, you need to learn sportsmanship. You know, I never forget, you know, when you lose a game, that really hurt. And you have to go on the court and you shake the opponent hand. And you have to tell them congratulations. All of this is building something inside of you in life because you're not going to win all the time. You're going to have difficulties in life. So you have to learn how to handle yourself when you go through these things. Are you going to be a good sportsman on the court, even off the court, when you have adversities? Because you will have them and you will go through things, even on the job. But you have to have patience with each other. You have to show kindness. You have to listen to one another. I'll never forget a book that I read. It was Stephen Covey. And it's seek first to understand, then be understood. And I've carried that with me. Seek first to understand, then be understood. That means that I have to listen. We have to listen to each other. And then we have to think about what the other person is saying and understand what they're saying, that we could come to a consensus that we can say, okay, and move on, and it's going to be okay. So I would say that in life, you're going to have ups and downs, but the way you handle it, that means so much. That no one walk away win-win. We could both win. We could walk away and still be friends and everything is okay. That's what I would say. And that's what I've learned. I've learned patience. You have to have patience with each other. And that's the one thing that I wanted and I did have with our girls, because I realized they were children. So I wanted to have patience. I wanted to understand because I realized children don't understand everything. So as for parents, it was all about them. It wasn't about me trying to fulfill dreams. It was about them helping them to become the best individuals that they could become. So it's a lot. It's a whole lot, but we have to learn to love one another, have patience with each other, and that's the only way.
That's a golden nugget, and I hope people will take those words to heart. And I love the way you delivered it with kindness, understanding, and patience. So let's talk a little bit about some of the relationships that you had with coaches and others, and anybody that influenced you throughout your high school, throughout college, the time you were there, and even at work. And if you want to name names, feel free.
In sports, I would say my brother Tony, because he was the first person I saw playing basketball. And like I said, we never had grass in our backyard. We had a yard full of dirt and some goals to play basketball on. And so I would say he was the greatest influence watching sports. I enjoyed that. And then I would say I had a teacher named Miss Eason. She was the track coach, and I'll never forget her. She saw something in me because you had to do. I think I received the presidential award for sports, in PE, and then we had Miss Nixon. She was the basketball coach, and it was like they saw something in me and they pushed me. They showed concern in my ability in track and field and in basketball. Then, I had some great players that we played together, in high school. Like I said, Deborah Clark and Yvette Jones. We're friends on Facebook. I really love that platform of Facebook because I get to connect with all of them now. And I would also say, I would love to say in life, I would say that my husband is a great inspiration when it comes down to sports because he ran track in high school and now he cycles, he swims. So we ride together. We ride our bikes together. And last year I think the most I rode was, I think I got up to like 28 miles. And that was a great accomplishment. But it's so many people, that I could say that was a great part of helping me. But I would have to give it all to my parents as well. I had a mother and a father that showed so much love and so much support. They, like I said, they played the sports with us outside. We didn't just go outside and play, but we had a neighborhood. I don't know if the kids have that today like we did back in the day, but we had a neighborhood that would come out and we would play softball, kickball, just everything. And I'll never forget that. And to have your parents there supporting you and doing it with you, I would have to say my parents, because they were there for us. And that meant so much. So parents, I say to you, your children are looking at you. They're looking at you to be an example. So we have a job to do as parents, and you want your children to succeed. So therefore, just support them in all the ways that you can and encourage them, because that will help them along the road.
Estelle is an artist. She's written a song. She's written many poems. Her song is on our 757 website in the content section. Estelle, talk to the audience about that song, where the inspiration came from, what the song means to you.
The song is called Does It Matter? I wrote this song May 25th, 2011, after watching the last episode of the Oprah Winfrey Show. She wrote a love letter to her audience, and she said, all people want is validation. They want to know, do you see me? Do you hear me? And what I say doesn't mean anything to you. That day, watching that, I just paced my floor that day and I pondered on those words. And then she made the statement. She said, if I was to come into your home and sit in your kitchen on a stoop, we would all share the same thing in common. And that's people want validation. And she said, validate your friends. She said, validate people. And I never forget watching one of her shows, and she had President Obama up there. And she said, after the show, he said, how did I do? He just wanted to know, how did I do? And she talked about others after her show, they wanted to know, how did I do? And that's that sense of validation. You know, our kids want to know, you know, they're looking at you for you to tell them they did a good job. You're going to be okay. You did well. So getting back to the song and the video, that was May 25th, 2011, when those words stayed inside of me. And I went to bed that night, and all I could dream about was those words. You know, can you hear me? Can you see me? What I say doesn't matter to you. So that night I dreamt the melody and the lyrics, and I'm not a songwriter, but that's how it happened. So therefore, I got up the next morning and I shared it with my husband, and I just walking around the house, singing it, talking with my girls, sharing it and singing it. So what I did was, our girls had taken piano lesson, and I got with Roscoe Redcross, and he got with a music engineer to put it on a sheet for me. So I knew I had something. So the first thing I did was submitted it to the copyright office. So now, almost 7 years later, I meet with a music engineer. His name is Zach Taylor. And then he introduced me to Goki, my videographer. So it's like, I'm trying to find people, not knowing what to do, but I knew I had something and I had to do something with it. So he found the girl named Kala Gracie. She's the singer that's in it, the late Kala Gracie, because she actually died 2 months after the video was shot. We was on 88.1 with Edith White, and she featured us in sharing the video. And 2 months later, we lost her. But so I ask people did you want to be in my video? Asking friends, asking people, and they're looking at me like, oh my God, like, what is she talking about? But I finally got family and friends, and my mother-in-law, my mother, my husband and his bike friends, all of them, they took part of the video. I actually found a lady out in City Center. I didn't know her. I said, but do you want to be in a video? So I grabbed her, and she had her dogs walking around City Center, so we captured her. So to make the long story short, that's how the video and the song came about. Doesn't matter. So if you haven't seen it, go and view it from a ordinary person that was given something to do, a gift of writing a song and bringing a video about and bringing the whole thing into fruition. And I would say that it was almost 7 years from the time that that song was created to the time that the video and the song was birthed. So then I would like to talk about my poetry. I wasn't a poet, I was an athlete. But I would say talking to people in life experience, that's how the poems came about. It was like an overshadowing that I would just sit down and start writing poems. And all of my poems are inspirational. I have 2 books of inspirational poems, and I do have a third one I need to complete. And that's how my story with how I came about of being a songwriter and a poet. So therefore, what I'm saying to you all is maybe I did not go on in basketball, but there is another gift inside of you. So you need to tap inside and find out what that gift is, because it's there. We all have it.
What a fantastic story. And for more than anything else, the gifts that you're sharing with our community. And for our community, I repeat, you can find that song on our site, our website, which will launch soon. Estelle, we can't end this part without you sharing one of your poems. Please share.
The pebble. Sand brushes against it. Foreign particles attached. Moisture meets the grain. Rolling up and down, it faces the storms, wind, and rain. The sun shines and hardens its being. Disfigured from the boisterous winds, tarnished and discolored. Oh, don't throw it away. The pebble rolls until it is formed. Conform to what others thought it would never be after years of brutally beaten by the turbulence of the waves. Finally arrive. Finally arrive. Hone to perfection. I am. You are a pearl.
Absolutely fabulous, amazing, and inspirational. Thank you so much, Estelle. To our audience, this concludes part one of our sit down with Estelle Ellis Fonville. I know you enjoyed it. Maybe you enjoyed it as much as we did. So be sure to come back for part two when Estelle goes deep and shares about issues important to her. Until then, take care. Please be kind to one another.